Ryan Sewell, 10 points behind Jaden Ojeda, and then Cameron Shields, 16 points behind in fourth place. We know before the start of this round, so effectively at the end of yesterday's racing, it was Ojeda 1 point ahead of Ryan Sewell, and then 3 points ahead of Cameron Shields. Cameron Shields is on the front row of the grid with Jaden Ojeda, Ryan Sewell and Aaron Love on row 2, Lachlan Hughes, Josh Smith on 3. Row 4 is Jackson Walls and Thomas Smith, Zaid Tones and Antonio Astudi on row 5, and Artie Jonick out there in row number 6.
Artie Jonick, of course, finished in the sand trap at the last race, and we're away for the final race of round 5 this doubleheader weekend. And down into turn 1 goes Cam Shields in the McDonald's entry, leads them through there. It's Jaden Ojeda right onto the back of him, Ryan Sewell in there as well, Aaron Love. There goes Lockie Hughes as well, who didn't get past turn 2 in the last race yesterday. Took a win yesterday, so let's see what the rookie can do from his position 5 starting spot.
Great start for Cameron Shields. Now he needs to convert this into a win. Hasn't had one for the weekend and would love to get one now just to grab a few more points back on Ojeda and Sewell, who have just got a little bit away from him after the first 2 races this weekend, or today I should say, here for round 5.
Cameron Shields has got a massive program in 2018. He's backing it off a massive program for 2017 as well. He's doing the Formula 4 at the top of his program. He's doing some state and national series Formula 4 and also doing some Formula 3 Premier Series racing as well. So he's got a big program of racing to do, and that's what you need to do. You need to be in a race car every weekend, if not every other weekend. And prioritise, of course, the one that you think is going to take you the furthest, and then make the other programs fit around it. So there's some generous people helping him do that. He slides wide, coming onto the straight on the opening lap, and he's going to be gazumped by at least Jaden Ojeda, and he is. And that's caused him a big problem. He's lost the lead of the race, all of his own doing. Got a bit hungry with the throttle, opened it up, and pushed himself off the edge of the track there. Can he fight back from P2?
Through turn 3 now, Ojeda leads from Shields. Ryan Sewell right on the back of the Cameron Shields. These 2 AGI sport cars, Sewell and Ojeda, have been absolutely amazing this weekend.
The AGI Sport team started off a few years ago as a bit of a minnow in the open wheeler scene. They've really come on strong after last year winning the title with Nick Rowe, taking the 2017 championship. G'day to Nick watching on in WA. As we've got a big spinner going to the infield. Is that Artie Jonick again off the driver's right? The field just coming around onto turn 9. Lockie Hughes again. He still maintains that 5th spot. But after a win yesterday, he'd really like to get back on with it. There's Artie Jonick in the number 50, just trying to clean his tyres up a little bit, but that was a really fast off. Around the sweeper he went. But here comes the field up to turn 11 now. Jaden Ojeda leading the way. Cameron Shields right about there where he is now. Gave away the lead by running wide. Slight mistake. And boy, Tony, in Cam's pace F4, you make one mistake, that's it. We'll go down to Greg Rust.
Guys, car 11 has been in the lane here. It didn't actually take the start, so the side pod on the left-hand side has just gone back on. Michael Patrizio thinks about to give Walls the all okay and sends him. It's the Patrizio course team, I should say. I'll try and find out exactly what went wrong and come back to you.
Hey, Rusty, thank you for that. Yeah, Jackson Walls didn't partake in the start and had a couple of the techos down there with him. Looks like they have fired up, whatever the problem may have been. We'll cross down to Rusty again shortly to find out that situation. Been a pretty good weekend for Jackson Walls and the Patrizio course team. Unfortunately, though, that isn't the way they'd like to finish it.
Artie Jonick in the lane now after that high speed off in the sweeper. Obviously feeling not quite right underneath him because he did come off at a rapid rate and not skated across the grass, which is normally the result coming off at that point of the track. Nice and smooth in the outfield to be able to just slide along and gather it all up and continue on your way. But Jaden Ojeda leading the second lap of this race, and here's the field lining up behind Cameron Shields, Ryan Sewell, Aaron Love, Lockie Hughes, Josh Smith, Thomas Smith, Zaid Tones and Tony Astudi. Back down to Greg Rust.
Boys, they tell me at the Patrizio course team that it was a problem with the ECU, and in the previous race it had rubbed or damaged part of the wiring, so they've changed the ECU, and whatever the issue was with the performance of the car on the outlap, it seems to have cleared now.
Yeah, that's a real shame. Take to the start there. He's lost the best part of a lap and a half. Getting out there and I guess getting the last points that are on offer in this race is very, very important. In fact, he'll probably... Artie Jonik's back on the track now too for those watching on. The car 50, here he comes through turn 2. Very dirty tyres and under tray there, so trying to keep things neat and tidy. Good shots of Jade No Jada, busy at the wheel there. A lock-up for Ryan Sewell in the Cam's Rising Star, entered Ray White car. All running the Control McGale chassis, an International F4 chassis. And doing a really good job, these cars.
With the Ford Focus 1.6 litre EcoBoost turbo engine.
It's only a low boost engine, doesn't produce a high amount of boost. We're not talking Formula One type boost here, just a low boost. Give the EcoBoost a little bit of a push along. Certainly gives these slick chassis a good push through the air. But not wanting for horsepower, the drivers. In fact, they all seem to think that there's a good amount of horsepower to start to feel how a Wings and Slicks car works. They are a Wings and Slicks car. They also don't have a huge amount of downforce. Again, mostly coming from the underside of the car. Quite small surface area wings on the front and the back, so they do give a good feeling of a Wings and Slicks car, but not that much that's going to throw them into the weeds if they get it wrong.
So Jade No Jada now increasing that lead up front. It's broken out to 3 seconds. 5 laps down of 12. Cameron Shields in second place. Ryan Sewell in third. Aaron Love, who won our last race, in fourth place. Lockie Hughes, then another second or so back in fifth. Josh Smith, Thomas Smith, Zaid Tones. He's had a pretty tough weekend. Currently in eighth. Studi, Jonik and Walls making up our 11 starting cars.
Yeah, you mentioned Zaid Tones, a tough weekend, a bit of damage yesterday. In fact, I think we've had quite a bit of damage this weekend with 2 rounds, and we've had a lot of racing. By the end of this race, they'll have 6 races over 2 days, and we've certainly done a bit of damage to the equipment. Lockie Hughes put it in at turn 2, quite low speed at the second race today, and then there was Zaid Tones, had the big shunt yesterday, of course, which tore the rear wings off 2 cars and front wings off them. So they were actually fixed up and ready to go within 2.25 hours. So that was testament to the race teams. These cars, Formula cars, so they are a little bit like a Meccano set. You pull them apart, put them back together again, but it's not like doing it in the nice quiet of the workshop in the midweek when you're doing it at the racetrack and there's racing going on in the background and the driver standing there with his helmet and suit on going, I want the car back, let me in it, and the crews are still working on them. A real pressure cooker situation, and it is great to see that the mechanics in the workshops or in the pit garages work under such extreme pressure to get them back out on track. Jade No Jada leading the way on the Morris Finance leaderboard with Cameron Shields nearly 4 seconds astern. Then it's Ryan Sewell and Aaron Love. Of course, keep an eye on the social medias, hashtag Shannons and our website, thenationals.com.au.
Time to have a look at how this championship is starting to shape up, coming towards the end of this round 5. At the end of round 4 yesterday, we had Ojeda 1 point ahead of Ryan Sewell. So it was 204 to 203, and then Cameron Shields in third place on 200. If these positions remain the same, Ojeda, Shields and Sewell, so sort of a live ladder, if you want better. Jade Ojeda is going to go to 269 points. Ryan Sewell is going to go to 248 points. So there'll be a 21-point margin between Ojeda and Sewell, and Cameron Shields will go to 242 points. So he's going to be some 25 points behind himself.
So round 6 goes to Hampton Downs for New Zealand?
No, not Hampton Downs. It goes to Pukekohe.
Pukekohe, sorry.
Yeah, part of the Supercars round over there. So first time for all of these drivers who are heading over there. And I know that the guys in F4 are just really trying to find maybe another driver or two, a New Zealander, to probably jump in the car over there for a home round. So wait and see what happens there. We could have an extra couple of cars on the field.
Spearing off there at turn 6 again. Not too sure who that was. Recovered and regained on the track there. Here's the positions for second and third on the road. Cameron Shields and Ryan Sewell. Ryan Sewell with the Cam's Rising Star, blue star on the back of the airbox and the side pod there. part of a very strong program that was started off years ago with Quinton Crombie at CAMS, headed that program up, and over many years has developed into quite a strong program. Will Power, James Courtney, and many others part of the Rising Star program throughout the years.
So Jado Jada continues to clock up fastest laps of 120.61 now, and that's nearly a full second faster than anyone else in the field. And a 5-second margin, 5.7 second margin now has broken out between himself and Cameron Shields. Artie Jonick back into the lane.
Yeah, they had the shocker cover off there as well, so that's interesting to do mid-race. There's a lot of mud and debris up the side of the car, even on his visor. So he obviously he was the one that went off down at turn 6 just half a lap or so ago. But we're back out to Jaden Ojeda having a very strong lead, Tony. We saw him do this in yesterday's third race. He's doing it again in this third race. But by the end of yesterday's race, he had a 12-second advantage on the field. Cam Shields is trying to hang on to that gap to Jaden Ojeda as we go down to Greg Rust in pit lane.
AGI Sport team tell me that the issue for Artie, they think, is linked to the incident or altercation earlier in the race, and he's got a sticking throttle, guys. He's gone out the back.
Yeah, that's not what you want. A sticky throttle is the last thing you want to hear about if you're a race car driver. Very, very scary situation indeed. You go to ease the car into a braking zone and go down through the gearbox, and there's the engine up on the rev limiter pushing you into the corner. Not nice.
I had a sticky throttle on the simulator in the Morris Morris Finance driver's room.
Yeah.
Just before, but that's only because I wouldn't take my foot off.
Got that big work boot you're wearing there, on a sensitive bit of equipment. Very nice little leather-soled driving shoe or something like that.
Probably
Tone.
might have been the way to go,
Yeah,
Darren.
yeah. I think your heritage probably would suggest a nice little soft leather driving shoe of some description, wouldn't it?
No, big concrete boot.
Concrete boots, yeah, of course. Big gum boot on the accelerator. Lockie Hughes currently sitting there in 5th place. 6th is Josh Smith. Zaid Tones in 7th. Antonio Stuti in 8th place. Thomas Smith in 9th there. And Jackson Walls a lap down. He joined the race late, of course. So that rounds out the top 10.
Cameron Shields still in 2nd place and now 7 seconds behind. We had 2 races yesterday where both Ojeda and Sewell broke out into the lead and had effectively 8 seconds or thereabout wins from their races yesterday. Looks like Ojeda might be on track to do that again here today as Ryan Sewell continues to follow Cameron Shields. It's a half a second gap there, and that really hasn't changed for the last 7 laps, has it?
No, it hasn't. In fact, this race has probably seen the least amount of passing that we've seen through the entire 6 races here this weekend. They're lining up, trying to bring the cars home in one piece and trying to bring home a point or 2 as well. I dare say that would be what the teams have been drumming into these young chargers. Don't bring back a damaged car, bring back some points. That's what we're going to be all looking at the end of the year. Of course, try and get out in front and lead the race if you can. Everyone should take a bit of a lesson out for Jaden Ojeda.
Yeah.
And you know, try and learn that. He came out of the Mike Borland School of Racing, and that's what he was always like. Get the car to the end. We've got to get points. Get to the next round. Don't bin it, whatever you do.
Well, a win in this race for Jaden Ojeda will give him a better than a 50% mark for the year. It'll give him 8 wins out of 15 races, and it'll give him 3 round wins, being, of course, Phillip Island was one where he had a clean sweep there. Sandown being second one, was they? Yeah, was it Sandown? Yeah, it was. Yeah, and here as well. Jackson
Walls down the back of the field at the moment, setting personal best lap. So he's fixed that issue at the he sat in the pit lane for, and now getting on with the job, albeit down there in 10th place at the moment.
Correct there for Jaden Ojeda. It was Phillip Island, Queensland Raceway, and then here, of course, the first round of the season being at Simmons Plains, which Jaden had some issues down there in the second race. So Ojeda still clocking up fast laps. Not as fast as he's won on lap 7 though. That 1:26.1 remains the fastest lap of the race. and keeps that margin at 6.5 seconds between himself and Cameron Shields with 1.5 laps remaining. He can just take that foot just off ever so slightly and bring it home. And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing too. As you look at his sector times, they are dropping about half a second off his best times for all those sectors at the moment. So Jane's just making sure that this car comes home safely and comes home in first place as he rounds the final bend to set himself up for one more lap here of Winton Motor Raceway.
The sun baked and bathed Winton Motor Raceway. Who knew the first weekend of spring we would have such a beautiful race day here at Winton Motor Raceway, and Jaden Ojeda is going to celebrate at the end of this one. A good strong lead in the championship off this. Coming into this day of racing, or this round 5, it looked really close, but if he can get to the line now, he's going to have himself just a marginal buffer, better than what he came into today with going home, that's for sure.
And effectively really means that if he just finishes in top 3 in all 3 races over at Auckland and Pukekohe, he will probably take out the championship, you would think.
Yeah, hard job to do though, finish on the podium for 3 races in a row.
But at least you can map out a plan. At least you know sort of what you have to do.
Yep. Here's the battle for second. These two have to go to New Zealand and just grab the whole event by the throat really and shake it as hard as they possibly can to try and get the best possible result. This is a real commanding drive here for Jaden Ojeda. The Engine Sensors Australia AGI Sport team. The team won the title last year with Nick Rowe. This guy is setting himself up and the team for a really strong entry for the first flyaway race meeting for this year for the Formula 4s. There's the checkered flag, and Jaden Ojeda takes race 3 for round 5 of the CAMS Pace Australian Formula 4 Championship. Cameron Shields will follow him home a distant 6 seconds away to Ryan Sewell, Aaron Love and Lockie Hughes. After a bit of damage this morning and a race win yesterday, Lockie Hughes has ridden that motorsport highs and lows, hasn't he? Tony surfed the wave to the top and to the bottom this weekend.
Yeah, he certainly has. Josh Smith in 6th place, Zayed Tones in 7th, Antonio Studi 8th, Tommy Smith in 9th. Jackson Walls finishing in 10th place after a late start into the race. And unfortunately for Artie Jonick, he found himself in 11th place for the race. But it was Jaden Ojeda, as you can see there on the screen, a 6-second margin between himself and Cameron Shields, not O'Shields. I'll just turn him on.
So Ojeda.
Cameron Shields, and that now sets up a thrilling final round. It'll be round 6 over at Adelaide